Good morning, everybody. Thanks for tuning in to another episode of The More You Mow. I'm Jay, and this big old pile of sand behind me is going to be going all over the yard. We're going to be doing our renovation today, as well as our overseeding. Let's go ahead and get this started. So as you can see from this glorious pile of sand that I have here, this is about 10 tons of mason sand. So this is what I'm planning on using to level out the front yard over in these areas over here that you can see. Any of this green that you're seeing is already dead. I sprayed it again just to make sure everything was completely killed off. So anything you see that's green, not going to be there anymore. I guess Tom found his litter box for the time being. Hopefully he didn't leave any disgusting little almond rocas in there for me to clean up. Gross. So yeah, this is 10 tons of sand. I'm planning on putting this out today. We're going to do most of the work probably by myself. I don't really have too many other people that are willing to give me a hand, but I will be grabbing my father-in-law's tractor and maybe some of his tools that he might have, maybe to pick up some of the debris and whatnot. So we'll see how that works out here in a little bit. I used it last year to do the backyard to drag out the piles of sand. So we'll see how this goes on the front. But as far as the first step is what we need to do is we need to go ahead and scalp all this down. I have it, I think it's probably at like a level C currently at the moment. I'm gonna try to drop it down a little bit further to get as much of this grass up as I can. And then in the back, I'll just go ahead and mow it a little bit lower, just since we're doing the overseed back there. You don't need to necessarily scalp it, but I'm gonna get low just so I can get down to the soil. First things first, let's go ahead and mow this down and start backing up our clippings. So we got most of the side done now. So you see it's pretty low. Got one full bag here, full bin. All right, good thing we got some more of these paper bags over here so I can use those and keep going. So if you haven't grabbed one of these for doing yard care or whatever, I recommend grabbing one. These leaf and lawn chutes really help stabilize these bags. They're not necessarily wide enough for the Time Master bag, but I mean it's better than trying to fight this bag to stay open while you're dumping your clippings in. You guys pretty much understand this process right here, so I'm gonna go ahead and skip to the next part of this. I'm gonna go ahead and just scalp this all down and I'll check in backward. Alright, so the front yard's all mowed down. I have it on level E, I believe, on the Time Master. I mean, it's down pretty good. In the backyard, I didn't remove all the dead grass either. It came out pretty well, so I don't have to worry about some dead grass that's still here. If anything, it'll help kind of hold the seed in place. So let's go to the backyard now and mow that down because we'll be overseeing that as well. All right, so after getting all the dog poop up in the backyard, or at least what I thought I got up all the poop, it's time to start doing the overseeing project back here as well. So while I'm mowing the front, I'm gonna do the back, get it out of the way. I'm not gonna mow the back down as far as I did in the front. There's no new fed, this is just gonna be an overseed, so you don't need to go all the way down to the soil level. This is kind of what we came up with for the dog path kind of thing. That was just trench right here. So some of that sand's gonna go back here and try to fill this out a little bit so we kind of get something decent going here so the dog's not completely just destroying everything else around it. So that's our plan for also this overseed project, so we're gonna take care of that. But for now, let's go ahead and get to mowing this down. So at this point, the lawn's completely mowed. It's down to a level C on my Time Master. Normally I mow at a level A, so dropping down 2 notches, going down level C. And this is about what we're looking at. I don't really want to go much lower than this. Like I said, I'm doing the overseed back here, so I don't need to take it down too much further than that, but make sure you bag your clippings. Any problem spots you got you might want to address those at that time. And then you're ready to roll on with the next step. For the front yard, I'm going to be using this mason sand to level out a bunch of my dips and ruts that I have. You can see them over in this area especially. It's more from the Time Master, being so heavy and kind of following the same routes a lot of times. So doing that, you'll create ruts. So I need to level this out and smooth it out so that way I can get it to how I want it to look. And I have 10 tons here of sand. This is Mason sand, and it's pretty fine. I don't need this much for the whole front yard, but I have some other places around the backyard and what have you that I need to do other projects on. So I got a little bit extra. Just to get an idea, cost-wise, this cost me about $160 delivered to my house. So this is 10 tons. So take that for what it is. So now we have our sand here. I filled up the tractor. You saw me doing that shoveling, so we're gonna be doing that about 6,000 more times. I got a couple projects I'm working on, so I'm using sand for other purposes as well. But we're gonna be doing the front yard now, so here's where we're gonna get started. So back in this corner over here, I have a couple low spots. It's not too bad. So basically what I plan on doing is kind of getting some sand on my shovel and kind of following wherever my tracks are at and get some sand in there first. So if you have utilities in your yard, make sure that you mark them out before you get to applying too much sand. So like right here is my water main. So I need to make sure I don't cover this up because, well, I mean, obviously I don't get my water shut off. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go over here, just put like a flag relatively near, where I'm working at. So I mean, I guess I'll just walk straight up to the corner here, drop this flag. And now I know that from this flag going that way, I got utility. So you can do that with like sprinklers, what have you. But I just have this water shut off, so I'm gonna mark that off. So we're done putting sand out on this corner piece of the front yard. It's kind of hard to see in the video, but we got pretty good coverage. I got a bunch of good little clumps all over. So we'll see how this spreads out. I'm gonna do the other side before I actually start, leveling anything out. I mean, I still got that pile of sand right there, so I'm gonna put as much as I can over on this side over here, and then whatever I have extra, I'm gonna fill in some spots over on this side. So as you can see, we got pretty much all the sand spread out we're gonna need to use for this renovation, as far as I can tell. So what we're gonna do is try to level out what we have here, see what we have for sand that's left over or where we might need some, because I still have that huge pile of sand over there. This contraption right here, this is gonna be our DIY drag. So I got a couple 45-pound plates that I grabbed out of my basement. I have a pallet that I have here and a ratchet strap, as you can see. And basically I'm gonna attach that to the back of the tractor and drag this around the yard. This is the same process that I did for the backyard from last year. So I'm gonna try it again this year in the front. It's a little bit tighter quarters in here, so I'm gonna have to go back and do some hand leveling in some areas. But from what I can see, I think this will work just fine for a little while. So let's give it a shot and see how it goes. This side is pretty much good and level, at least with the tractor. I might have to go back through in some areas with the hand DIY leveler that I made a couple years ago and, you know, touch up on some areas. But I mean, as far as I'm concerned, this is level enough. I mean, I don't see more ruts all over the place. Once I get some water on this too, it'll even out a little bit more. So I'm not too worried about if there's any kind of, you know, weird variations and whatnot. But as long as the Time Master tracks are covered, that's what I'm most concerned about, and that's what we did. The pallet with the weights worked perfectly. Now I'm gonna go ahead and move on to the other side and do the same thing. And at 5:30 p.m. I started this at 8 o'clock this morning. I am done with the leveling aspect of the front yard. If you look at it, it looks pretty good. I mean, it's all uniform. There's sand wherever it needs to be. So, and on the other half of the yard, this is all done as well. So there's a couple places I'm gonna have to hit by hand, like I said, but other than that, this is it. So what I'm gonna do tonight is run the irrigation, let the sprinklers hit the sand that's on the ground over here and kind of work into some of the areas, let it level out. And then tomorrow we'll go ahead and get to the part where we're going to start our actual seeding process, and we will finish up this renovation and overseed for this year. So I'll start on Saturday, should be done by Sunday, done with the leveling part. So I'm going to go get myself some dinner and get cleaned up, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Good morning, everybody. It's officially the next day of our project, and looks like everything kind of how I left it from last night. This side looks good too. So this is what we have left over. So I got 10 tons of sand, and it was probably overkill for this project. Probably could use maybe about half of that, maybe 5 or 6 yards. Sorry, 5 or 6 tons. But you know, while we have all the sand here, we might as well make use of it. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna do some loads out in the backyard. I think with that, I'm gonna go ahead and maybe do some more leveling back there, since now there's grass established. I don't have to worry about the dogs really messing too much stuff up. So I'm gonna take most of the sand and move it over to the backyard. I'm gonna go ahead and mow down the backyard to, I think, maybe a level E or F. I'll let you know in a second. But I'm gonna mow the backyard down to where it's pretty low, so that way we can make the leveling aspect of this work a lot easier. So here's after doing the backyard. I just mowed it down to a level E. I got it down pretty low. You don't need to go this low unless you're doing like leveling projects. So as you can see, I tried some spots around with the sand yesterday, and it worked out pretty well. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go around this hole down on this backyard and level everything out. I mean, I got enough sand to do it, so why not put it to use. So far I have about 2 of these Gorilla carts full of sand that I put out. So this is about the consistency you want if you're trying to just just some light leveling. So you don't want to put it in too heavy. I do have some spots over here that obviously I'm trying to fix, so I'll just go down heavy with, why not. But spread this out thin, kind of leave it out to dry for a little while, so the sun kind of takes out some of that moisture and makes it much easier to work with, and you can work it down in the canopy way easier. After many a trip of dumping sand out here, this is what we got left over. So you can see we got quite a bit of sand out. We didn't kill off the whole pile out there. I'm gonna put that on probably Facebook Marketplace or one of the local apps and see if anybody local wants to come by and pick it up. This is after we spread everything out. So this is really just sitting on top of the grass that's here. So we're gonna drag this out, and it'll all kind of drop down, as you can see over here. So we'll go grab our pallet, we'll grab the tractor and drag this out. I might just do a quick time lapse of this. It's pretty much the same process as the front, so nothing really too special here. We'll go ahead and get this dragged out, and some of the areas we need to, we'll use our DIY leveler. Done using the tractor to drag everything out. Dragging that pallet around is really a nice way to do it, especially if you don't have any other options. So I mean, you can get like a drag mat or something, but I mean, if you can find a pallet somewhere on the side of a building and just strap it to the back or something. I mean, I've even dragged around like using my legs and pulling around behind my back. It's not fun. That's why I'm using the tractor, but it can be done. So it's something to keep in mind. We're done now with the tractor, and then now we're gonna go grab the DIY hand leveler, and we will get started with that aspect. So this is the DIY leveling rake that I made. Oh god, I probably had this thing for about 4 years now. So really all this thing is a handle from, you know, any kind of broken yard equipment. I'm sure you're gonna have some laying around. Basically I took it, I think it was like a hoe, and I split it apart, and then I use that as like my rod for the middle. But this, I mean, as you can kind of see from the upside down tag, it's literally scaffolding. So I got this from Harbor Freight. I think it cost me like $40. All I did was drill out some of the rivets to take out some of the slats. I think there was 2 more here, so I just drilled out the rivets, easy to do, and then drilled holes all the way through on the other side and just kind of bent the tips up on the actual rake itself. Now this does bend. I mean, it's not perfect, but I mean, it cost me maybe $50 total to do this. If you're looking at what it costs to get a, you know, an actual legitimate hand leveling rake, it's like a couple $100, like $200. I mean, it works. It's $40, and it's literally just a platform like scaffolding from Harbor Freight for like $40. So check them out. So it might be kind of hard to tell, but in this area right here, I didn't do a very good job of hitting with the pallet on the tractor, so I'm gonna use my leveling tool that I made to level this out. So over in this area right here is a little bit high, and it's got kind of dips and whatnot. So I'll go ahead and demonstrate how this lawn level works. It doesn't take much effort. You got to push it a little bit, but I mean, it works. Remember earlier how I told you guys to mark out where your utilities are at? So good thing I put this here, because I mean, this is not very easy to see. So I'm glad I marked that off. So on my renovation last year in the backyard, I used this Lesco Kansas Excalibur blend that I got from my local Site 1. For the backyard, I'll be using this again. It's a good seed. It's local to me. It's right down the road, and it's been working pretty good for the last couple of years. So for the backyard, since I already had that there, I'm gonna go ahead and add this to the back. Since it's an overseed, but I did do a lot of leveling, I'm gonna go probably pretty heavy on this. Now, just in case anyone's curious as to what kind of seed this is, we have 37% Monumental Tall Fescue, 36% Kingdom Tall Fescue, and 24% Bravo 2. You can see here there's no weed seed. Some of it never mattered, but that's all right. 50-pound bag, and it's also got the blue tag from Oregon, whatever that means, but it's good stuff. So before I go and actually spread my grass seed out using my spreader, I'm going to go and spread some seed by hand. Usually you want to do this around property lines, around trees, shrubs, whatever you want to be a little more precise with, where you don't want seed spraying everywhere at. So I'm going to try to go along this fence line over here, you know, kind of go around these couple of trees, and then we'll catch up with you guys and we'll see how we're going to spread this. Now that we're done getting our places that we need to get to by hand, we'll go ahead and get this into our spreader and get this going. All right, here we go. Start spreading some seed out. All of our Kansas Excalibur blend Tall Fescue has been spread back here. So we have this all down. I put probably most of it back down, to be honest with you. I mean, I have it, so I might as well just use it all. So I saved a bunch of it for you know, touch-ups in case I have anything I need to throw grass seed at. But for the most part, I use most of the bag. I mean, I know it's heavy, but like I said, I got it, so why not use it? So now that you have the grass seed down, the next step is going to be, well, if you need to, you can rake it in, but since I have so many open bare areas, I don't need to rake anything. I'll be fine. I think I'm just gonna go ahead and get my fertilizer ready to go. So I can get my starter fertilizer down over here, and I'll show you what kind of fertilizer we'll be using. So I'm excited to introduce to you guys a new vendor that I had found. This is not a sponsored video, just to keep that clear. This place was recommended to me on Facebook. Whoever you were, you know, thanks for recommending me the place. Really appreciate it. So basically, the place I'm talking about is Valley Feed and Seed. So this place is local to us in Wichita. What they have is a premium tall fescue blend, and they also carry a bunch of different other types as well as contractor grade, what have you. But a lot of people recommended this place. I never really thought about using them, so I figured I'd give them a shot. And I think it'd be a good comparison between this and the Lesco / Site 1 seed that I used in the backyard last year, and I'm overseeding with again this year. So basically, it's just different type of tall fescue. So we'll see how this does. So we'll put this to the test, see how it goes. I'm really excited to try this out, so let's kind of take a closer look at the tag here and see what they offer. This has a couple different types of tall fescue in it. You have your Fiat tall fescue, your Gallardo, this is Turfway tall fescue, groundhog, and then you see I skipped this one right here. So this is rising. This is Rising Moon Tall Fescue. So this Rising Moon Tall Fescue is actually, it has rhizomes in it, so it's similar to kind of like, you know, your, I guess your Kentucky bluegrass, but it's not nearly probably as aggressive as that. And, you know, even a more step up, more aggressive than that would be your Bermuda. But this is pretty cool to find somewhere local. Side one didn't offer anything that had any kind of tall fescue with rhizome qualities to it. So I'm want to see how this turns out in the front yard. As you can see, just like everything else, you know, it's blues tag, whatever this means. I guess it's so nice they had to stamp it twice. Some internet matter, no weed seeds, no other crop seeds. So this is a good quality blend. Also offered at Valley Feed and Seed is their starter fertilizer. Now we have our starter fertilizer added to the hopper. The setting I have it at right now is 4. That's for the Echo RB60. I might bump this up to 5, you know, 6, 7, see what's looking like as we're putting it out. For the first pass, you kind of want to be, you know, as light as possible. You don't want to run out of your product before you get done. So I'm going to go lighter on the lighter side and start around 4, and I'll bump up when I need to. So one of the last steps we're going to do for the backyard is we're going to be putting down our tenacity, which is going to be our pre-emergent for our grass seed that's going down. This is the only kind of pre-emergent you can use when you are overseeding. You can also find this in the Scott's blue bag, I think it used to be at least, and they have mesotrione, which is the generic version of tenacity. So tenacity can be kind of expensive depending on when you try to find it. So if you can find anything with mesotrione, use that. But since the starter fertilizer I have did not have any kind of preventative in it, we're going to put down tenacity. And then also going down with that tenacity is going to be our root ruckus from GS Plant Foods, which is just basically just some humic acid with some other micronutrients in it. And every bottle of tenacity that you get comes with this syringe that comes with it. So it shows you in teaspoons of tenacity versus how many gallons of water. So we're going to be doing 4 gallons since we're doing 4,000 square feet in the back. So we'll need 4 of these teaspoons of tenacity. If you can, I recommend adding the tenacity straight to a water bottle. That way you can just shake it up and you'll have it ready to go, and you just pour it into your tank whenever you're ready. Instead of putting it in the tank and then trying to mix it up, you already have it ready to go. So I went and added about 4 gallons of water to this backpack sprayer. This is what we're going to use applying our products today. So this is tenacity, this is root ruckus. It's all going in there. Man, I'm getting tired. We're gonna go ahead and add our root ruckus. We're gonna need 2 cups of that. Since we're going on the higher end, we're gonna go 4 ounces per 1,000. I have 4,000 square feet, so I'm gonna do about 2 cups. And as you can see inside here, we have all our humic acid added to it. So humic acid's in, tenacity's in, so let's spray the back. Once you're done putting down your tenacity and your humic acid, you can call that a wrap. So, you know, clean up the sidewalk, get all your grass seed back to where it needs to belong, or right where it needs to be. You don't need it over in the sidewalk. You know, you want the stuff growing in your grass, not there. Get that all taken care of. Kind of give it a little once over, see how it's looking. Be proud of yourself, because you just did it. So now, really, at this point, if you were just overseeding and doing a leveling, you would just go ahead and run your irrigation at this point and water all in. I say I would water probably about 3 to 5 times a day for maybe 10-15 minutes to zone. That's kind of how I do it, especially out here, because, you know, we're in the 90s still, and we're, you know, kind of adjust accordingly to whatever location you're in. So we're done with the back. Now the next thing we're going to do is take care of the front. It's pretty much the same thing, but this time, instead of using the Let's Go grass seed like we did back here, I'm going to be using the Valley Premium Tall Fescue blend that they have over at Valley Feed and Seed. So I'm gonna give that a shot. We'll go spread that out. Same thing, humic acid, starter fertilizer, seed, not necessarily in that order, but that's what we're doing in the front. So let's go ahead and get to it. We're gonna do the exact same thing as before. We're gonna take a couple handfuls, or I guess bucket full of seed, and go along our property lines, as you can see over here. We'll make sure we get these taken care of pretty thickly, so that way, you know, we have a nice area to see where our grass compares to our neighbor's grass, to be honest with you. So let's go ahead and put this down by hand. So now we have all our grass seed out in the front. We have a little bit left over. Always keep some extras just in case you have to patch anything up later on in the season. I went pretty heavy on all this, so it should be pretty good. I'll just, have some for patchwork if need be. Same with this side. This side is all done. Looks great. I like watching how it's pretty sweet. And that, ladies and gentlemen, concludes the overseeding and renovation project for 2024. Wow, I'm tired. This has been a very long 2 days. We're done. I don't know if I'm gonna put this in one video or two, but we'll see what you guys get. So just kind of give you a quick rundown as to what we had done. First step we did was we mowed down the yard to actually rewind that even further. 2 weeks ago, we went through and used glyphosate to kill off the whole existing yard in the front. We did not do that to the backyard. Backyard was just an overseed, just so I'm very clear on that. It took us about 2 weeks to get to about where we were at when we started the project. Everything was pretty much, completely dead. I had some things that I had to spot spray, but for the most part, nothing was alive in there. After that, we had went through and we went and ordered the sand, scalped this whole yard down, pretty much down as low as it'll go. I think it was like maybe E or whatever I said in the video, and got up all the dead grass as much as I could. And then after that, we took this sand that I had brought in and we leveled this whole thing out. So I had started with 10 tons of sand. Definitely didn't need 10 tons for what I'm doing. I probably could have got away with about 6 to 8, depending on how big of a project I was trying to do, but definitely didn't need that much sand. So we used the tractor for my father-in-law. I want to thank him very much for letting me use that. That definitely saved my back for the most part. Without that thing, I mean, you're literally dragging around a pallet. It's not easy. You can do it, but it's not fun. So if you know someone who has some kind of power equipment, use it, buy them a case of beer, fill it up, fill up the tank, do what you need to do. But that's a really, really big help in helping me keep my back intact. And that's also how we delivered all the sand around using the gorilla cart. And then after that, we took the pallet with the weights on it, attached to the back of that tractor, dragged it around for a little while and leveled everything out. Did the same thing as the back, but we didn't put as much sand down, just really to kind of level it out as what was already there. After you level, you want to go ahead and get your grass seed going. Scally Feed and Seed. I've never tried them before, but from what I heard, they're a pretty good company, so I gave them a shot. We'll see how the front yard looks compared to everybody else. I don't think I'm gonna have any problems with it at all. We kept the same Site 1 Excalibur blend for the backyard as we did for the renovation from last year, so that way we can do a fair comparison of the two, kind of somewhat side by side. So once you apply your grass seed, you're gonna go ahead and put down your starter fertilizer. So starter fertilizer I got again was from Valley Feed and Seed. Comes in a 50-pound bag and covered front and backyard. So you saw the analysis earlier, and that's a good starter fertilizer for what I needed. So at a fair price as well. After that, we did our humic acid and tenacity mix in the 4-gallon backpack sprayer and sprayed the front and the back, 4 gallons for the front, 4 gallons for the back. And the tenacity will act as a pre-emergent, which will stop new weeds from growing, but let your new grass seed grow. You can't just use any weed killer at this point. If you use any kind of weed killer, you have to wait a certain amount of weeks before you can put your grass seed down, and it's not gonna work. So tenacity is what you're gonna wanna use. The generic brand name for tenacity is Mesotrione. So look for something that has Mesotrione in it and you'll be good to go. While we were going to spray down tenacity on our yard, we might as well get some humic acid down too, just get some micronutrients in there. There's a debate whether or not it actually does anything or not. I mean, I'm not here to tell you either way. I'm not a scientist. I'm just a guy who likes to take care of his yard. So I'll let you do the research on that. I'm gonna put it down just because I have it. It's got micronutrients in it that I can tell. And since I'm only putting sand down, I can give some nutrients back to my yard. Then after you're done putting down your spray and everything, you want to make sure you clean off your area, get your seeds back into the yard, so that way it's where it's supposed to be at, not all over your driveway, not all over the sidewalk, what have you. After that, you're gonna want to go ahead and water all this in. So my watering schedule I'm probably going to go with is I'm going to probably water every single day I'll start at 5 times a day just because it's so hot right now, at maybe
we'll say 10 minutes of zone. We'll start with that and see how it looks. I can adjust it from my phone with the Imolaza irrigation controller that I have, which is pretty cool. Check out some other videos. I have a video on that. I think you guys would really like that one.
And here's the backyard, how it turned out. I think it turned out very well as well. We put down a bunch of grass seed, we put down a bunch of sand, you know, we leveled this thing out, so this is going to turn out pretty well. This is the Let's Go Site 1 grass seed that I used last year for my renovation. It looks really well. It looks really good. It's just looked kind of bad because I had to mow it down so low. So I am officially done. I am tired. I don't want to do this anymore. I don't want to see any more sand. I'm going to go ahead and run my irrigation now. I'm going to go have some dinner. I'm going to shower, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my night. This is a long weekend. I'm glad it's done, and now we just sit back and enjoy, and we'll check in a couple weeks and see if I guess a couple days, and see how our grass seed's growing. So if you hung out around this long, I want to thank you for watching this whole video. Like I said, I'm not sure it was going to be 1 or 2 videos long, but this was a whole project. I really appreciate it. Make sure you give me a like and a thumbs up. You know, leave a comment down below if there's something you noticed that I did wrong, or you know, something you would have done differently. But like I said, I really appreciate you guys all checking this out. This was a long process and a big job for me. I want to thank my father-in-law for letting me borrow his tractor. I want to thank my wonderful family for helping me with all this shoveling and all this dumping, and I know their backs are hurting just as bad as mine, if not worse. So I want to thank them for putting in, you know, wasting their whole weekend with me to give me a hand. So I don't really think I have anything else for you guys. So thanks again for checking out this video. Like, comment, subscribe down below, and I'll see you guys on the next one. See ya.